Hi, welcome to Scope Portfolio. I am Scoper Silas Atekfo, and thanks for joining me. On this particular uh, edition of Scope Portfolio, we are bringing you a review of the elections that took place in La République du Cameroon. But first, I would like to refresh your minds on the words of our Chairman Milan Atam, on the same night where the election polls were about to close in La République du Cameroon. So let's take 1 minute or two and listen to the words of Chairman Milan Atam regarding the elections that went on in La République du Cameroon, and whether or not that had any impact or should have any impact on Southern Cameroonian Ambazonians. Let's watch.
Of these Yaoundé elections on our people, if any. I will start with the chairman. We'll come back to whatever the chairman came here for today, why we invited the chairman, but we want to start with foreign news. Chairman, what is the implication of this Yaoundé elections? Does it have a stake on our revolution?
Thank you very much. Perhaps I should start by indicating that these elections are none of our business, but yet, like you clearly mentioned, we are keeping an eye on them simply because they will have a bearing on our struggle, on our revolution. Yes, it's true that our people have rejected Yaoundé and its annexationist policies on our people and on our territory. But we are also acutely aware of the fact that Mr. Biya at the moment is hoping to use these elections to validate himself, to give himself some kind of credence, and then use that to continue to persecute our people. It comes as no surprise. In fact, nothing about these elections come as a surprise. We know for sure who the winner, I mean, everybody has known who the winner of the elections will be. What continues to baffle me are the individuals who decide to give this whole exercise any kind of validation by participating. It tells me two things. One, either they are so politically naive to the point that they think that they can win an elections organized by Mr. Biya, or they are politically extremely dishonest to the point where they are using the people and giving the impression that they are part of a democratic game. I have been seeing this several years, more than 10 years back, when we had meetings with a whole host of actors, and we told them and we advised them not to go for any kind of elections organized by Mr. Biya. We had several meetings with some of the opposition parties, and we advised them very strongly not to go for elections organized by Mr. Biya. And my philosophy has been a very simple one. If you want to beat Mr. Biya, then do not play his game, but rather change the game completely, change the rules of the game, and change the players. As long as he determines the game, as long as he determines the players, as long as he determines the rules of the game, he will always win because he's got the machinery in place. And the only way to beat him is what we have done. We have changed the game completely. We have changed the players. We have changed the rules of the game. Everything is completely out of his reach. And that is the reason what we are doing and we continue to do has been one where we are forcing him to play our game. And in the process, we force him to make lots of mistakes. And everybody knows throughout the course of this revolution, the Biya regime has made one mistake after another. It is no coincidence. It is part and parcel of a well-orchestrated strategy on our part. So it's unfortunate that the likes of Akeremuna and OC would be going ahead at a time like this to validate this whole drama that Mr. Biya is organizing. It's unfortunate, but then I would like to take this opportunity also to salute our people on the ground, to salute the boys on ground zero and all the work, the heroic work that they've done. And to be honest with you, when I saw what the boys did over the past months, but most especially what our people, every single one of them, the women, the men, the children, when they stepped out there and decided to celebrate October 1st, for me, they are the true heroes of this revolution. The people on ground zero are the true leaders of our revolution. We must continue to take our hats off to them and continue to salute them for the heroic part that they have played, and they continue to play. And I imagine that they will play until we finally cross the Mongo and arrive in Buea.
Yeah, Chairman, you mentioned the likes of the Akere and the OC. I think Akere mentioned that Ambazonians are helping La Republique to win are helping Paul Biya to win elections in La Republique du Cameroon. I don't know what he thinks the elections in La Republique is of interest to Ambazonians. I've actually said it a couple of times that all of them who are participating in these foreign elections, I consider them naturalized citizens of La Republique du Cameroon and not really Ambazonians. This was on a foreign channel that he was explaining himself, probably justifying why he knows he's going to lose. Because like you said, the outcome of these elections is not something that no one is unaware of. But yet they went ahead to do this. So what do you think the likes of Chairman Frunzi, he's still the chairman, who is someone that Ambazonians for before now had looked up to him like someone who was going to bring some kind of liberation to the people. Today, from preliminary results that we see flashing up and down, we know that the SDF have been obliterated from any kind of political space in that country. So why would they still continue to follow this agenda? Is it just personal, or in their heart of hearts they think they are seeking solutions? Because their argument is that they want to win this election for Ambazonia to solve the Anglophone crisis. Is there any connection to that you can see?
Well, back to the first statement you made when you alluded to the statements of Barrister Akere Muna, saying that by carrying on the way we are carrying on, we are helping to keep Mr. Biya in power. Again, I go back to what I said and said sometimes when you listen to some of these leaders, you tend to draw the conclusion that they are either extremely naive politically or they are extremely dishonest politically. And that is the case with all of them, especially given the role that they are playing. I've got no problem. I'm 100% in favor, respectful of somebody exercising their political rights and their political choices. And for Barrister Akere Muna or Mr. Joshua Osi deciding that they want to play Mr. Biya's game, that is their political choice, and we respect that. But by trying to make us look stupid for fighting for what is rightfully ours, I think that is insulting. As for the SDF, I just made mention of the fact in...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Chairman Milan Atam on the 7th of October on Hard Talk Ambalan on SCBC TV with Silas Atefo and NS to Atem. And he made it clear what Ambazonians should have been looking towards and what that elections actually meant for any Ambazonians. That the election, that the elections had nothing to do with Ambazonia. The election results were foreknown, so the outcome of the elections were already known, and Ambazonians were only keeping an eye on these elections just to understand the moves of their enemy. And so it all came and passed exactly like Chairman Milan Atam had prophesied or anticipated, and most of us Ambazonians already know the system. That is actually why we decided to break away, actually to cut ourselves up from that yoke that was that was bonding us and that country illegally. The bond of which has always been the bond between Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon actually is the La République military. That is the only bonding that bonds Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroon. And once that game was changed, like Chairman was explaining, that the only way to beat Mr. Biya was to change the game and make him play by your own rules. The rules of his rules of elections and manipulations and listening to proposers and elite, corrupt elite promises, that is his game. But Ambazonians came of age, we realized this, and we changed the game completely from Mr. Biya. And like Chairman was explaining, that every time that Paul Biya is playing our game, he keeps making lots of mistakes. We are consistent in what we have been doing. We are resisting his military because we recognize that his military is the only thing bonding us and him. So we are resisting that military, and each time that we have taken the resistant approach, Mr. Biya keeps making the mistake. We have all seen that with the rise of the international voices against La République du Cameroon and Mr. Paul Biya, despite the election results that he faked himself again into, he rigged himself into another 7 year of office over there. And please, for those of you who have been watching some of the congratulatory messages coming from some international bodies or countries, that has nothing to do with the policies that these countries or these organizations have to put in place. It is a democratic thing to congratulate the process of the election itself. That is what most countries have been congratulating. It's not they know that there was a massive fraud over there. They know that Ambazonians did not participate in that election, and that these elections Ambazonians have rejected Yaoundé in every form and shape. The figures that were faked, putting Ambazonians into their elections or are also understood by the international community. So the congratulatory messages are just normal. So some of you who look at these messages and do not understand why countries would congratulate Mr. Biya, they are not congratulating Mr. Biya. Actually, they are congratulating whoever is the president of that country. And it's just a democratic thing to congratulate the process of the election that went, and while recognizing all the flaws that that was involved in. And this shouldn't deter us in any way towards our move. We have to remain focused. Chairman explained that the regime of Yaoundé, especially those who were helping the status quo to remain, like all the O.C. Joshua, the Akeremuna, the Franklin and Franklin Zifor, all of them who have roots in Ambazonia, who were participating in this election, were only legitimizing the outcome that everybody already knew, that it was going to be Biya again. And legitimizing that simply means they are siding with the status quo to make it stronger. And anyone who made that possible, because the outcome of Biya today is that Biya will be able again to tour the world and represent anybody. It's the fact that all these other so-called contestants, actually they are collaborators and not contestants, all these collaborators collaborated in these elections to legitimize Mr. Biya again in power. And Chairman was explaining there that it's just another license for him to continue to come out there and continue to do evil. Now, the fact that we understand this, it's enough reason for us to continue to fortify ourselves towards the unforeseen. Because now that he has been given that mandate again, he has now gone past the election stage, and he wants to face Ambazonians like he promised in his election campaign in the north. So Ambazonians need to stay focused. We need to keep fighting. For those of you who got into, especially again, let me just give a special message to all the federalists, those who call themselves federalists. You all know that without the restorationists, you are nothing. This is not being arrogant or anything. I'm just stating a fact. Without the restoration campaign, you would dare not ask for any federation. You would dare not. So after saying that, I want to also let you guys know that all the expectations that you all had, whether I was with Joshua Ossie, whether I was with Franklin Zifo, whether it was with Maurice Kamto, you can now all see that restorationists were right all along. We are not playing the game of Yaoundé, and we will win. And our win could be slower because some of you are not are backing the wrong tree. So if anyone who likes federation definitely would enjoy independence. So now that your federalist check has bounced, it is clear Paul Biya is not coming for any federation. Paul Biya is not even coming for. Paul Biya did not come out to say anything when all the killings, all the burning alive, all the beheadings were going on. He's not going to come out to tell you anything now that he has a free 7 years to run again. He has no obligation. He doesn't owe you anything to come out and sympathize with you. If he didn't sympathize with you when he was desperate, if Paul Biya did not sympathize with you when he was desperate, he has no obligation, no reason to come to you right now. The federalist check has bounced. You have to recognize that. Change your strategy. Stop backing the wrong tree. Back the restoration movement. Back the restoration forces. Let's play this game on our terms. That is why Biya keeps making wrong moves and is panicking. He has to run around and get lobbyists all over the place. He don't need no lobbyists for federalists. He need no lobbyists for unionists. It's because of the restorationists. That only tells you that is the right tree to back. So please back the right tree, the restorationist tree. This I hope this message actually resonates with those of you, and it's also to encourage all the restorationists that we have been doing quite a good job. We are far from a victory, but our victory is certain. We will get there regardless of whatever Mr. Biya wants, because it doesn't depend on him. And our resolve is strong, and we are going to get our independence by hook or by crook. That only bond that bonds us with La République du Cameroun, I have explained again, is the military. That is the only bond between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroun, and we will change that. We have been changing that gradually. I enjoy some of the songs that the restoration forces do sing. We keep them small. and small we will get to Buea. So small in every little way. Restoration forces are doing it small. Our leaders in the diaspora and all our diasporans, they are also doing it small, killing Mr. Biya small. He's going to just fall like a piece of cloth that the peg that was on a line and the peg has been removed. He would just fall like that. So everything is being crushed. He's being crushed from around, and the center will fall down flat. So please keep putting in your maximum effort. The Southern Cameroonian Congress of the People is 100% for the restoration of the independence of Southern Cameroon. That is in our manifesto. That is what we stand for, and that is what we are prepared to die for. It is either a free Ambazonia or nothing else. So we want to encourage you to continue to support our movement. We go to our Facebook page, Scope Info, go to our website, www.scope.org, find out information. You can also contact any of our members to get information and how to link up to a cell or a branch around you. Scope is worldwide, and you can find a branch to link up wherever you are. So just reach out to Scope Info and you will get more information. Thank you again for watching. This is Scope Portfolio, and Scopa Silas Atefo, bringing you some encouragement for after elections. The restoration train is moving forward. Let's add more coal to this engine to make sure that we get there faster than later. Thank you.